This AI CEO wrote an essay, and it just went fucking viral.
Okay.
It's called Something Big is Happening. Have you heard about it?
Mm-mm.
It's from this guy, Matt Shumer.
I've heard that name.
Think back to February 2020. If you were paying close attention, you might have noticed a few people talking about a virus spreading overseas, but most of us weren't paying close attention. The stock market was doing great. Your kids were in school. You were going to restaurants and shaking hands and planning trips. If someone told you they were stockpiling toilet paper, you would have thought they'd be spending too much time on a weird corner of the internet. Then, over the course of about 3 weeks, the entire world changed. Your office closed, your kids came home, and life rearranged itself into something you wouldn't have believed if you described it to yourself a month earlier. I think we're in the, quote, "this seems overblown" phase of something much, much bigger than COVID.
I agree with that.
I spent 6 years building an AI startup and investing in the space. I live in this world, and I'm writing this for the people in my life who don't. My family, my friends, the people I care about who keep asking me, so what's the deal with AI? And getting an answer that doesn't do justice to what's actually happening. I keep giving them the polite version, the cocktail party version, because the honest version sounds like I've lost my mind. And for a while, I told myself that was a good enough reason to keep what's truly happening to myself. But the gap between what I've been saying and what is actually happening has gotten far too big. The people I care about deserve to hear what is coming, even if it sounds crazy.
I love people that wander into unknown territory and break the ice with, so what's up with the Holocaust? It's like, where do you want to start?
Totally. I know. It's funny because we talk about this all the time, and it's like a very, we've been predicting Terminator.
The end of all humanity.
For a long time.
Yes.
Well, here's a guy saying, like, guess what? We're fucking there. We're on the doorstep the way that we were in spring of 2020. I should be clear about something up front. Even though I work in AI, I have almost no influence over what's about to happen, and neither does the vast majority of the industry. The future is being shaped by a remarkably small number of people, a few hundred researchers at a handful of companies, OpenAI, Anthropic, Google DeepMind, and a few others. A single training run managed by a small team over a few months can produce an AI system that shifts the entire trajectory of the technology. Most of us who work in AI are building on top of foundations we didn't lay. We're watching this unfold the same as you. We just happen to be close enough to feel the ground shake first. But it's time now. Not in a eventually we should talk about this way, in a this thing is happening right now and I need you to understand it way. He goes on, I know this is real because it happened to me first. Here's the thing nobody outside of tech quite understands yet. The reason so many people in the industry are sounding the alarm right now is because this already happened to us. We're not making predictions. We're telling you what already occurred in our own jobs and warning you that you're next. For years, AI had been improving steadily. Big jumps here and there, but each big jump was spaced out enough that you could absorb them as they came. Then in 2025, new techniques for building these models unlocked a much faster pace of progress. And then it got even faster, and then faster again. Each new model wasn't just better than the last, it was better by a wider margin, and the time between new model releases was shorter. I was using AI more and more, going back and forth with it less and less. Watching it handle things I used to think required my expertise. Then on February 5th, 2 major AI labs released new models on the same day. GPT 5.3, Codex from OpenAI, and Opus 4.6 from Anthropic, the makers of Claude, one of the main competitors to ChatGPT. And something clicked. Not like a light switch, more like the moment you realize the water has been rising around you is now at your chest. I am no longer needed for the actual technical work of my job. I describe what I want built in plain English, and it just appears. Not a rough draft I need to fix, the finished thing. I tell AI what I want, walk away from my computer for 4 hours, and come back to find the work done. Done well. Done better than I would have done it myself, with no corrections needed. A couple of months ago, I was going back and forth with the AI, guiding it, making edits. Now I just describe the outcome and leave. Let me give you an example so you can understand what this actually looks like in practice. I tell the AI, I want to build this app. Here's what it should do. Here's roughly what it should look like. Figure out the user flow, the design, all of it. And it does. It writes tens of thousands of lines of code. Then, and this is the part that would have been unthinkable a year ago, it opens the app itself. It clicks through the buttons. It tests the features. It uses the app the way a person would. If it doesn't like how something looks or feels, it goes back and changes it on its own. It iterates like a developer would, fixing and refining until it's satisfied. Only once it has decided the app meets its own standards does it come back to me and say, it's ready for you to test. And when I test it, it's usually perfect. I'm not exaggerating. That is what my Monday looked like this week. So a little while ago,
you ever seen the movie Margin Call?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite movies. There's just something about it. There's like no music. It's just this.
It is the most boring movie ever made.
I've seen it at least 100 times.
And you can't take your eyes off it.
Yeah. My wife going like, watching Margin Call again. All right. But there's a great part in that movie. This is for those of you that haven't seen it. That basically the financial crash of 2007, 2008, and this analytics guy in the risk department at one of these banks cracks this code. He finishes the code that some guy finished. Not a code, but does the math. This guy's a math guy and figures out that like this whole thing's about to collapse. And he tells this higher up. Next thing you know,
that it's like basically that they created an enormous bubble.
Yes,
and the bubble is already collapsing.
That's the best part. Is like when he's talking because the leader of the bank, this multi-billionaire guy, goes, "Stand up, tell me what the problem is," and he goes and. Talk to me as if you're talking to a dog or a small child. He goes, it wasn't brains that got me here. He goes, guy gets up and explains the kind of nuts and bolts of their MBS program and the tranches and, all this. And then he's basically lays out to him like the whole thing's collapsing. And the guy said, my job is to guess when the music's about to stop. And he goes, and what you're telling me is the music's about to stop. And the guy goes,
nope.
No, it's already happened. And it's about to get way worse. And it's such a perfect way. Like, it's such a great way that he explains it. He goes, no, I'm explaining to you what already happened.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this guy's
doing. We're not seeing it coming.
Yes.
It happened. And we're in that space. No one knows, but it's already happened.
Yeah.
I want to apologize to Moreno, who sent me an article a while ago. I brought it up on the pod.
Yeah.
Where I was saying, I don't buy it.
It's about the AI social media.
Yes, because it looked to me like what that article was describing was the what do they call that? The point where it becomes sentient,
the singularity.
And I thought that would be bigger news if that had happened, but that may have happened.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen someday, right?
Right.
It's going to happen someday, and that day may have just happened.
Yeah.
Like, we could be there already. Yeah. So that article might have been actually telling us that we are there, and just nobody wanted to accept it the same way, like, as he's describing, like, in COVID, like, we were there, and nobody really realized it until the toilet paper was missing in the grocery store.
I was thinking about this. There's a weird kind of like almost like a paradox that when he's comparing this to COVID times. Now the black pillars always like say nothing ever happens. Nothing ever happens. COVID, which was one of the craziest things I've been through in my life. I remember being out on St. Patty's Day, and they locked down the next day, and we went and got a beer after work, and it was just weird. You could tell everyone, like, people were kind of wanting to celebrate, but there was like this edge in the air. Mm-hmm. People got their little green beads on and stuff, but like no one's really smiling. It was such an odd. I just sat there, just like observing people, and like I wonder how people are going to handle this. And next thing you know, the craziest times in all of our lives, everything's shut down. But at the same time, so something happened, right? Yeah. We had the COVID years, but at the same time, nothing happened. Just like this AI thing, this guy's saying like, it's happening. And everyone just goes like, what are you going to do?
That's a good point. Yeah. We don't know what it means.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
It is.
To think of the worst possible outcome, which you and I have talked about ad nauseum
every day
podcast. Anything from the Terminator or the Matrix to no, actually, AI is going to help mankind
Make us all
to the point where
we don't have to work, don't have to do anything, which
to the point where we become hedonistic slaves to
right.
AI, to a machine. He does go on. It's kind of a long essay that he wrote, but let me just, since what is going to happen, he has a section in here where he says what this means for your job. I'm going to be direct with you because I think you deserve honesty more than comfort. Dario Amodei, who is probably the most safety-focused CEO in the AI industry, has publicly predicted that AI will eliminate 50% of entry-level white-collar jobs within 1 to 5 years. And many people in the industry think he's being conservative. Given what the latest models can do, the capacity for massive disruption could be here by the end of this year. It'll take some time to ripple through the economy, but the underlying ability is arriving now. This is different from every previous wave of automation, and I need you to understand why. AI isn't replacing one specific skill. It's a general substitute for cognitive work. And that is so true when you look at what it does.
Say that last sentence again.
AI isn't replacing one specific skill. It's a general substitute for cognitive work.
That's well written.
So we use AI now to write term papers.
Right.
What's the point of going to school if a robot is doing your work for you?
Yes.
We use AI to write songs. Mm-hmm. Some people do.
Yeah.
We don't. We would never. It gets better at everything simultaneously. When factories automated, a displaced worker could retrain as an office worker. When the internet disrupted retail, workers moved into logistics or services. But AI doesn't leave a convenient gap to move into. Whatever you retrain for, it's improving all that too. Let me give you a few specific examples to make this tangible. But I want to be clear that these are just examples. This list is not exhaustive. If your job isn't mentioned here, that doesn't mean it's safe. Almost all knowledge work is being affected. Legal work. AI can already read contracts, summarize case law, draft briefs, and do legal research at a level that rivals junior associates. The managing partner I mentioned isn't using AI because it's fun. He's using it because it's outperforming his associates on many tasks. Financial analysis. Building financial models, analyzing data, writing investment memos, generating reports. AI handles these competently, and it's improving fast. Writing and content. Marketing, copy, reports, journalism, technical writing. The quality has reached a point where many professionals can't distinguish AI output from human work. Software engineering, I think that's obvious. Medical analysis.
I love the irony of using AI to check if something was written by AI or not.
There's a kicker. Medical analysis, that makes sense. Customer service, we all know what that's like, right? You have call up and you're like, this is a fucking robot.
It's a shame that's going
they
away.
Even give the robot like an Indian accent. A lot of people find comfort in the idea that certain things are safe, that AI can handle the grunt work but can't replace human judgment, creativity, strategic thinking, empathy. I used to say this too. I'm not sure I believe it anymore. The most recent AI models make decisions that feel like judgment. They show something that looked like taste, an intuitive sense of what the right call was, not just the technically correct one. A year ago, that would have been unthinkable. My rule of thumb at this point is if a model shows even a hint of capability today, the next generation will be genuinely good at it. These things improve exponentially, not linearly. You know what's kind of the kicker?
What?
He used AI to write this article.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple thoughts. Is that I was listening to an interesting interview. I can't remember who this was. And he's talking about AI. He goes, the only thing that AI is going to have a hard time replacing are a lot of the blue collar kind of jobs. And he goes, and once white collar jobs are gone, he goes, the only people that are really safe are people that actually create things with their hands. And he goes, but he goes, in an interesting way, blue collar is going to become the new white collar because white collar is not going to be a thing anymore. So it's like, for those of you still tangibly producing things and making things, he's like, you're looking a little better. A little better. He goes, all these white collar jobs are going away. But even like we build houses, but I mean, not for the 3D printing houses in China.
Right.
You know, and I mean, it's kind of crazy to think that how everything can go away. I've also had this kind of thought, and out of all people, it was an interview with Ben Affleck that said something kind of interesting, which I've always assumed he was a dumbass. He was pretty interesting to listen because he's talking about making movies. Now we've always talked about like how bad this stuff is.
Right.
Just, you know, we call them. We went out to lunch on Saturday. I took a picture of them. It was Valentine's Day. There was a couple there, both sitting at the table, each watching a different TV show at full volume. I was like, I gotta get a picture of these guys. Hey, Melissa, how was Valentine's Day? Oh, good. Me and my husband just sat and watched TV on our phones, then paid the bill and went home. But we call them, my son was saying, he goes, that's kind of weird. I was like, yeah, we call them moth people. They're just like,
Oh, right.
they always have to like, you know, they can't, you know, we're talking about how this technology, these phones and all these distractions and what it's done to people's attention spans. Now for people like us, it all came in the middle of our lives. So we can remember what it was like before, and we can still, hopefully to the best of our ability, retain some type of attention span, you know what I mean? Because we're all victims of this shit. But then the younger generations, like life without this is not a thing. It's like, it's unheard of. Like I have to battle with my son, like put that down, like no screens all day means no screens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like almost he doesn't understand that as like a reality sometimes, which is just so sad as a parent. But talking about like attention spans and what all this technology, all this convenience, you know, has done for us, Ben Affleck of all people saying we had to redo the whole model in the way that we make movies. And he goes, like, explain. He goes, well, it's no longer having, you know, a story and a plot, and the plot moves and the characters develop. Instead, it has to be establish the plot, the point of this. What's the story that I'm telling? And then do that again 15 minutes later. And then again 15 minutes later. And again, you have to do it over and over and over. And they're like, why is that? He's like, just the research shows that no one can follow the plots anymore because they're always looking at their phone, you know, while they're watching a movie. He's like, we have the data on that.
God.
And they look up their phone. They're like, what? Like, what? Who's that guy again? It's like, you have to remind everyone like what they were watching
Like
over and over.
Everyone has become your mom who
Yes.
talks through the entire movie. What's that guy doing? Like, would you just sit down and watch the movie?
And I heard, I was like, wow, that's interesting. I was like, that is so sad. Oh my God.
I will say this, in order for AI to replace actually like building shit, which is what we do, like you would have to introduce a robot.
Yeah.
So can a robot go into your house and fix a plumbing leak? Like that's a pretty sophisticated robot, right? Not to say it can't be done, and I'm sure AI could figure out a way eventually to create that robot in an efficient way, but like, or replace your roof.
Yeah.
Like we're outside of that. I don't see that happening right now.
Oh, I'm not talking forever. I'm just talking
they're-
about, I'm just trying to squeak out the last of my life.
Well, look at what happened with industry in the United States. We went from a manufacturing-based society, and then we outsourced all of that to other countries.
Yeah.
And we replaced it with all these jobs that are now being very easily replaced by AI.
Yeah.
Kind of made your bed.
Yeah.